Network in South Texas. Catholic radio for your soul. Catholic radio for your soul. Heard also streaming on grnonline.com and on your smartphone.
And good afternoon, everyone. This is Gordy Zambrano. All you listeners across the South and Central Texas listening area, welcome to This is in Your Vineyard. We had some technical difficulties there, but we are back. Again, I'm Gordy Zambrano, your general manager for the Guadalupe Radio Network South and Central Texas listening area. You can hear this program every Monday at noon right here on your local GRN station, online at grnonline.com, or, of course, on the free Guadalupe Radio Network app. Join us on Facebook at GRN South and Central Texas Facebook group. Hit the like button, and you can keep up with everything that's going on. Want to thank everyone who's tuning in from Marble Falls, Fredericksburg, Kerrville, Uvalde, and, of course, right here in good old San Antonio. We're grateful you've decided to spend this hour joining us and getting caught up on, of course, all things Catholic in South and Central Texas listening area. On this program, we try to bring you a variety of informative discussions highlighting different people, ministries, and events going on in the Archdiocese of San Antonio and parts of the Diocese of Central Texas, of Austin. And on today's program, we're going to welcome Jeff Carpenter from Troops of St. George. Welcome, Jeff. We're going to get to know the Troops of St. George, the local troop, what they stand for, what they do over at the Troops of St. George. Can't wait to talk about that. And on the second part of our show, we're gonna have Dr. Ann Daniel here on the program with Jackie Aguilar from Natural Womanhood. We're going to talk about the Catholic Physicians Guild of San Antonio and what they do and what's coming up. I know Jackie's going to be speaking at one of their big meetings going on this week, so we'll tell you all about that. I'm looking forward to the discussions today and looking forward to talking to our guests. And, you know, as you know, everybody knows that today it's a very somber day as we mourn the death of Pope Francis, who passed away this morning peacefully at the age of 88. And so I want to begin with the prayer for, of course, Pope Francis. And if we can do that, also want you to pray for, you know, our Archbishop Gustavo and Bishop Garianic and Bishop Boulet and all of our priests, deacons, seminarians, all of our religious. And on this day, we're going to pray the prayer for a deceased pope, which is Pope Francis, on this day, April 21st, 2025. So we begin in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. God, who in thine ineffable providence didst will that thy servant Francis should be numbered among the high priests, grant, we beseech thee, that he who on earth held the place of thine only begotten Son may be joined forevermore to the fellowship of thy holy pontiffs. Through the same Jesus Christ, thy Son, who liveth and reigneth with thee in the unity of the Holy Ghost, God, world without end. Amen. May eternal rest grant upon Francis, O Lord, and let the perpetual light shine upon him. And may his soul and the souls of all the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace. And lastly, I want to pray this prayer. The Franciscan missionaries of the Eternal Word offered this prayer for the Holy Father, Pope Francis. Lord Jesus, you have called Pope Francis to yourself. Thank you for the gift of his papacy. When he was with us, he tirelessly showed the church your constant mercy towards sinners. Grant him now your mercy and let him rest eternally with you in your kingdom. Through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. And we're going to get our program started. But, you know, you've heard a lot this morning, both from, you know, John Williams and, of course, Debbie Georgiani and Jerry talking about the passing of our Pope who, passed this morning very early. He had double pneumonia, and we're all mourning that today. And Easter Sunday, we just celebrated Easter Sunday, and he is risen and it is done. I mean, I love that saying, and we are in the octave of Easter on this Monday, which is, leading up to the Divine Mercy Sunday. So we want to stay in the Easter season. We want to, give thanks, give praise. And again, he has risen and it is done. I love that. And, I also want to, as we move on, I've got Ray Lopez here, Director of Technology and Giving. He's sitting in on this interview that he lined up with the troops of St. George. So he's got some questions. But before that, I want to remind everybody that our Guadalupe Radio Network's 25th anniversary celebration with the theme Keeping the Promise is coming up on July 19th, 2025. There's still available seats, and all you got to do is go into grnonline.com and hit the events button, and you'll see the 25th anniversary celebration where you could see Matt Maher, Father Chris Aguilar, Deacon Harold Burke-Sivers, Jerry Usher, Julie Carrick, Monsignor Charles Pope, a special message from Father Cedric Pesena, and of course, Adam Bly and Debbie Georgiani are going to be there. It's going to be in Plano at the Plano Event Center, and like I said, there are still seats available. You want to make sure to get your seat, find your way there, and it's a free event. You don't have to pay any money. Just find your way there in a hotel, and there are special rate hotels. So if you go into our site, you'll see that. And of course, we want to see everybody there. It's going to be a fun-filled day that starts at doors open at 7:30 a.m. The event's going to start at 8:30, and I guarantee you are going to be happy that you attended this event. It is our Jubilee year, and we are excited to have each and every one of you there. We've had a lot of people sign up. Ray, it's been great.
It's been great. I think we're going to fill the house pretty quickly.
I believe so, because, it's 2,000 plus seats in that place.
And there's a lot of great speakers lined up, a lot of great speakers.
It's a full day, jam-packed, and I think it's going to be beautiful.
Absolutely.
And also before we move on to talking to Jeff is, thank everybody again for our Fishers of Men dinner. It happened 2 weeks ago, actually a week and a half ago, over at Holy Trinity. And we want to thank everyone who attended Fishers of Men for South and Central Texas and pledged either a one-time donation or a monthly pledge of support. And want to thank Dr. Ray and all the committee members and Deacon Michael Pavelik and his wife Judy for being our honorees. It was just fantastic. We'll have information coming out for next year's dinner, but just want to thank everybody, volunteers, everybody who volunteered. It was just a special night. So thank you very much. So with that said, that is my intro, and I am going to turn now to Jeff Carpenter, who is here with the troops of St. George. Jeff, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me over, guys.
It's a pleasure. I know Ray reached out to you guys and said, hey, we'd like to have you, on the show to talk about the troops of St. George and, the local troop 815 of St. George. But, just give our listeners a little preview of what the, troops of St. George are about, how they were founded, what you guys do, all that good stuff.
Sure. So Troop St. George started in 2013. We have a couple local troops, but pretty much what it is, it's an organization for fathers and sons to spend time together in the outdoors, experiencing the sacraments, to raise our sons in virtue and to be holy Catholic men.
And now, what is the mission, the goal, and can anybody join?
So anybody can join. It is an organization for fathers and sons ages 6 to 18. And so we do require that either a father or a male figure from the family be involved also. So just fathers and sons, anybody can join. You can find all of our information to join at tsg815.org for our local troop that's based out of Our Lady of the Atonement. And we get together, we meet a couple times a month, and then we camp about 4 or 5 times a year.
And a lot of this is enjoying the great outdoors, right?
Absolutely. So we spend a lot of times outdoors. Like I said, we go camping 4 or 5 times a year, but we use the outdoors and the skills and things that we do out there as part of the way to train our sons and provide them experiences that will challenge them, help them to overcome obstacles, and grow not only in their faith but in their progression towards becoming men.
Now, the Troops of St. George, like, the national, right? If you want to call it the national, it's Troops of Saint, SAINT, George.org. That's the big organization. Now, how was that founded? Where was it founded? I know 2013, you said Troops of St. George was founded. You've got a local troop that, you gave the website for, but, let's kind of peel this back. Why was it founded? And, what is the mission or the goal for these young men who come into this organization with their dads?
Sure. So when it was founded in 2013, Troops of St. George was a grassroots organization that saw a need in society for a Catholic organization like this for fathers and sons, because frankly we needed that opportunity to help them grow in virtue, to have an organization of our own that is authentically Catholic. We say the rosary at night on campouts. We make sure that Mass is a primary function when we leave campouts on Sundays, and really just an environment for these young men to know that they're around other people practicing their Catholic faith. It's okay to be strong in their faith. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to practice their faith. Part of our requirements, they need to carry a rosary around in their pocket at all times. Yeah. So, and I'll read the mission statement of Troop St. George because it's written much more eloquently than I can state. So the Troops of St. George is an apostolate that aims to use the outdoors as our canvas and the sacraments as our path to light the way for the formation of holy Catholic men and boys, whether called to the vocation of the priesthood, the religious life, or that of holy fatherhood. Our fathers and sons will take a prayerful pilgrimage together to fulfill Christ's desire for them to grow in virtue and in their holy Catholic faith as they journey toward heaven. So that is our mission statement, and that is what we do to try to. That's what we're aiming towards in everything that we do. Using the outdoors as our place to do that in many cases, and the skills that you need to be in that environment.
So I heard you say vocations, right? What's the focus on vocation in Troops of St. George?
So really, what we want to do is make sure that our sons see that as an option in life. We want to, if we can, we want them to be around priests or brothers if we have the opportunity for them to join us. But and in fact, one of our former troop members is a current seminarian.
Oh, no kidding.
So it's really a great opportunity for them to just see that as an option as they go forward in life and help them through their discernment of that.
And the vocation of marriage and family?
So in the vocation of marriage and family, obviously, we're a group of fathers with sons there trying to strengthen our vocation. I can tell you personally, it has been such a blessing to me to be around these other men who strengthen my vocation of fatherhood and help to support me in what I'm doing to raise my sons Catholic and to be strong and virtuous men.
When Ray brought this kind of an idea, he's like, hey, we've got the Troops of St. George out there. We'd love to, introduce them to, the listeners out there and the Guadalupe Radio Network. I was like, this is fantastic. The more I dove into your Troops of St. George site, man, I was like, this is wonderful. And, we talked about this in the beginning, 2013. Doesn't feel like it was that long ago. I know it was 12 years ago, but it feels like it wasn't that long ago. You just mentioned you had a seminarian. Was that from San Antonio?
He is from San Antonio, so he's currently in the seminary. It's Patrick Wallace is there in the seminary.
We know him.
We know
he was
Patrick
part
Wallace,
of our he was part of our Troops of St. George group and has moved on now to go forward in his vocation of the priesthood.
And that's the whole goal, right?
That's right. So
that's one of the goals. But
that's one of the goals.
Yeah.
So we want to support them in whatever vocation they're feeling called to, but to show them too through our example as fathers taking our sons to do this, that we're there to lead our lives as authentically Catholic as we can. So to support them and encourage them, go have confession on a regular basis. Make sure we're praying together. That it's okay for men to get together and do this and to talk about our faith and to pray together.
Now, tell me this. What makes it Catholic or different from other scout-type organizations?
So just the fact that it is authentically Catholic. That is the primary goal of our group is to raise young Catholic men,
Sure.
and help them to be strong and virtuous in their faith. And so I think that is the primary difference. Also, secondarily to that is that it is a father-son organization. So we require fathers to be there. If your son's going to be there, your dad's going to be there with them.
Yeah.
We want to strengthen that bond. We want to show that example. We want to make sure that these kids see their fathers active in their faith. I think study after study has shown that as the father goes, so will go the children as far as in regards to their faith. And so that's a really important part of what we're here to focus on.
Absolutely. There's a lot of hard psychological evidence, scientific evidence that shows that the father is the primary determinant of if the kids stay in the faith. Because one of the problems that Gordy and I have talked about on this show a lot is like keeping your kids in the faith after they leave home. Right after they leave home, go to college, because that's when a lot of kids decide to go away.
Or how do you bring them back?
Or bringing them back, exactly. But it sounds like the Troops of St. George would provide a good framework, foundation for making sure that they stay in the faith when they do go off on their own.
So it strengthens as a father, it has certainly strengthened my faith, and just being around other men that are there to try to do the same thing I'm doing, is to raise holy, virtuous Catholic young men. The fact that I'm doing that with a group of other guys that give me some support in that and help me to do a better job gives us opportunities to talk to each other when we're struggling with our own fatherhood. We've got a regular communication with other men that we can have that dialogue.
And the membership of the troops, of your particular troop, I'm assuming it's made up of boys in Catholic school, boys that are being homeschooled, boys in public school even?
We've had kids from public school, homeschooled, the charter schools, private schools. It all ranges the gamut across the board.
Wow, that's great. That is great. As long as they want to live an authentic Catholic experience. Right. Now, what sort of skills do the boys learn whenever they're, because I know in other organizations there's a progression of skills and badges and things like that. What sort of equivalent does the Troops of St. George have?
Sure. So we divide ourselves into junior cadets and senior cadets. So junior cadets being kids in the fifth grade and under, where they'll focus on some of their catechesis. They'll focus on some skill, how to use different tools and how to, physical fitness skills, patriotism skills. That'll be something they go through kind of through their program. And then as a senior cadet, more for over the age of 12, it can be anything from apologetics, camping, knots, Latin, patriotism, canoeing, firemanship, fishing, a lot of outdoor skills along with our Catholic faith wrapped into that to give them opportunities to go out in life and to be challenged in something and then to succeed.
And to succeed at it, yeah, with Dad by your side, supporting you.
That's right. Now, from a local perspective, because, we've got listeners out there here in South and Central Texas who they may be listening right now going, God, this would be a perfect thing for my husband and my son, or maybe a husband out there listening. I'd love to get my son involved. How do they get involved? Who do they call? I know you're local here at Our Lady of the Atonement.
Yep.
And is there a cost? But who do they reach out to get the ball rolling?
So if you go to the troopsofstgeorge.org website, that is our national website. So there you can find all the troops that are currently in existence. There also, if you're wanting to start a troop, would be who to contact and instructions there for what to do to get a troop started. Our national headquarters is based out of Dallas, and so they provide a certain amount of support to all of us when we go through registration every year and program materials, uniforms, things like that. And that site will direct you towards what troops are currently in existence, or if you want to get one started. Here locally, we have a troop in New Braunfels, and we have 2 troops in San Antonio.
Oh, wow, okay.
And so there's opportunities here locally. Our troop meets on the first and third Thursday of every month.
Wow, yeah, I'm looking through your website right now. You are all over this country. Wow.
We are. It is a nationwide organization, absolutely.
Yeah. Nationwide, and there's one in Austin and Round Rock. I'm reading here. Of course, San Antonio. You've got your troop 815, right? So if they're interested in joining your troop, they go to tsg815.org, right?
That's correct. So that website has all of our basic information about what we're about, what costs are typically for families, when we meet, what's the goals of our organization, and things like that.
Yeah, because it looks like there's two troops, Troop 122 and yours, that are
Correct.
here
So-
in San Antonio.
That's right.
At Holy Trinity, I think you said, right? Holy Trinity.
I believe they're
and
based at Holy
okay.
Trinity. They're a new troop that started up here in the past year. I haven't been able to interact with a lot of them yet, but we do occasionally have joint campouts between the three local troops that will
Oh, cool.
we'll set up for us all to get together and let the boys interact too with guys from other troops and see kind of what's happening across the town.
It sounds like if you want to start a troop, right? I think it sounds like you need two things, right? A, you need to have a group of dads and sons that want to start the troop. Got to get them together and agree.
Yep.
And then I think it says on your website you have to go to the pastor of a parish.
So you do need to go to the pastor of
yeah.
a parish. However, we're not chartered by the parish. We are a
Correct,
separate
correct.
organization. So I think that's an important distinction for us to make in how we get things set up. So they need to have a place to meet, and they need to go to a parish. Because we do encourage and want them to have a priest that is there to support them in what they're doing and be available to the troop at different times. Frankly, for us as a troop, we look at how do we serve the Our Lady of Atonement parish?
Yeah.
What can we do to help out with different things? We've helped out at 4th of July celebrations, other times during the year that we'll help clean up parish grounds or do other things to be a member of the community and to make sure that we're there to support the parish we belong to.
Is there any formal role for moms?
No.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's and
Dads and sons.
I got to tell you
Dads and
something.
sons.
Having been through the experience with my son, that's actually good. You want to kind of take them away and say, we're going to show you how to be men. We're going to show you how to be men. Exactly. Yeah.
Now, from a local perspective, is there when do you all meet? Where do you meet? And is there a cost, like an annual dues of any sort that, a dad pays, a son pays, or, how does that work with your organization here at Our Lady of the Atonement?
Sure. So we meet the first and third Thursday of every month at Our Lady of the Atonement. And I say every month. Let me correct myself. We don't meet during the summer. We take the summertime off. So we'll take June and July off.
It's
we'll start
almost
up again
too
in
hot
August.
to be out there, right?
Here in South Texas,
Yeah.
it's too hot to go outside and
I
go
agree.
camping. We'll all go spend some time at the river, spend that time with our families. It's a good time to take a little break. We'll start back in August, and then first and third Thursday of every month, just about. Of course, depending on what's going on at the church, we may have some months that vary just a little bit.
Right.
Cost-wise, it is somewhere around $155 to $200, depending on the size of your family. If it's a dad and one son, we're going to be about $150 or so. If you've got more than one son that you're joining with, you'll be upwards of $200.
I mean, when y'all go camping, of course, you got to pay for that out of pocket. That's not going to come out of your dues, right?
So actually,
Food?
our camping our dues cover the campsite cost outside of food. So
okay.
when we go camping, we have somebody cooking for the group there, either a dad cooking for the dads and juniors, or in the senior cadet case, they're usually cooking for themselves as a group. Somebody's going to go buy the food and coordinate all that. And that'll happen camp out by camp out. But otherwise, the dues for the year do cover the facility cost when we go camping.
Gotcha. And now, tell us a little bit about, some activities that y'all have done in the past. Like I'm reading here, y'all have kayaked and swam in Canyon Lake. It's very low right now.
Canyon Lake's a little low right now.
Yeah, can't do that right now. But, going to, biking the mission trails. We love the missions, our San Antonio missions. And tell us a little bit about, some of the activities that y'all are planning or have done in the past.
Sure. So fortunately, we live in Central Texas here, and we've got all the great state park facilities here in the hill country at our disposal. So camping at Inks Lake, or we just got back from a camp out at Enchanted Rock where kids went hiking and camping out there. Beautiful area. We take every couple of years, we'll go take a backpacking trip around Lost Maples. We've camped at Mustang Island State Park before.
Hey, y'all were at the pro-life march at the state capitol.
We absolutely
Y'all should have come
were.
over and talked to us. We were
So
there.
we do attend the pro-life march every year. Sometimes we'll go to Austin. Sometimes we'll do the one here locally.
Right.
But that is one of our core activities every year is to attend the March for Life.
Oh, that is fantastic. I just read that and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. We were there, but yeah, we did see some, y'all have a uniform, of course, and we did see some troops out there. So we probably saw your guys out there. Yeah. So we got a couple of minutes left. I want to tell everybody listening out there, we're talking to Jeff Carpenter. He's from the Troops of St. George. And if you would like some more information, you can reach the local troop, TSG. That's Troops of St. George. I was going to say Tom Sam Gordon. TSG, Troops of St. George, 815.org. It is the local Our Lady of the Atonement troop. And Jeff, of course, will answer any and all questions that you have out there. But looking for fathers and dads to come together, have some together time out in the wilderness, out and about. I mean, you guys love doing outdoor stuff, and I love that about your organization. So hopefully, everyone got a little bit of information on who the Troops of St. George are. And like I told Ray, I was like, this is perfect because, it's building awareness, Jeff, about your program. I had never heard of y'all, and now I know a little bit about you.
We're still a little bit small nationwide as Troops of St. George is not well known across the country yet, but we are growing. Like I said, it's been in place for here a little over 12 years. And so we're excited about where things are going and what our troop has been doing. We've been expanding here locally. Up until just a few years ago, we had one troop in New Braunfels, and now we're up to 3 here in the San Antonio area.
And can our listeners call you for information?
They can contact us through the website, and we'll be happy to reach out and establish how they can get in touch with us and have some conversations for more information. TSG815.org is the website. Jeff, I want to thank you for coming on, in his vineyard and giving us some information about the Troops of St. George, because this is fantastic for dads and sons out there. And I think it's something that is going to catch on real quickly here in San Antonio. And if you're a parish out there and would like to bring it to your parish, go into troopsofstgeorge.org. That's the national website. It's troopsofstgeorge.org. There you can find out, how to bring it to your parish, how to start a troop. As a matter of fact, find a troop, start a troop. It's all in here, and there's a ton of information as well. So, Jeff, thank you so much again, and we're going to pray for the best, and would love to have you and maybe a couple of troop members on next time. That'd be great. Thank you for having me.
All right, everybody, that was Jeff Carpenter from Troops of St. George. Sit tight. We will be right back.
Hi, I'm Adam Bly, here with Debbie Georgiani from the Spirit World.
God has promised to St. Faustina that on Divine Mercy Sunday, graces are available even greater than a plenary indulgence.
On our next show, we will be joined by Father Chris Aguilar from the Marian Fathers, who is a leading voice in telling the world about God's amazing divine mercy.
So don't miss this opportunity. Listen on Saturday at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern.
And subscribe to the Spirit World wherever you listen to podcasts.
GRN family, join us for our 25th anniversary celebration on Saturday, July 19th in Plano, Texas. Special guests include the inspiring Father Chris Aguilar, the dynamic Deacon Harold Burke-Sivers, and 9-time Grammy-nominated musician Matt Maher, and many more. This event is free. Seats are filling up quickly and will sell out. Secure your seat now. Register at grnonline.com/anniversary. See you there.
The vocation of a military chaplain is a unique calling. He offers spiritual solace and guidance to soldiers, providing prayers and comfort in battle. He embodies faith and valor and brings God's blessings to those who defend and protect. Would you like to pastor like servant of God and Medal of Honor recipient Chaplain Vincent Capodanno? Visit milarch.org. Learn more about shepherding U.S. service members, veterans, and families in service to this nation.
Hi, folks. Gordy here, and what a joy it is to let you know that this year's Fishers of Men dinner was a complete success. I'm so grateful for the many sponsors and individual donors that helped to make that happen. I especially want to thank Dr. Christopher and Lauren York for their tremendous generosity. Because of your charitable support, we can continue to keep our airwaves Catholic across South and Central Texas. Thank you again, Dr. Christopher and Lauren York, and may God continue to abundantly bless you. And welcome back, everyone. What a great conversation with Jeff Carpenter. troopsofstgeorge.org, or like Jeff was telling us, he's got the local Troops of St. George here at Our Lady of the Atonement. So if you're looking for information, go to TSG, that's Troops of St. George, 815.org, TSG815.org, and try to join their program if you can. And you know, I know Jeff said if you have questions, you can go on the website, and there's plenty of information. If you want to go on the national site, it's troopsofstgeorge.org. You can find all the information about Troops of St. George. I'm glad they came on the program. I was not aware that they were doing so much, and you know, knowing that it's a father-son type program, that was also very interesting. I love that. I think we need more young men getting involved and praying and having a prayerful life. And just like that, I have my second segment guest coming on, and Dr. Ann Daniel. Go ahead.
Hey.
How are you doing today, Dr. Ann?
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
I'm glad to have the Catholic Physicians Guild of San Antonio. We're going to talk about that. And of course, we got Jackie Aguilar, our good friend from Natural Womanhood. Jackie, how you doing?
Doing great. Thanks.
All right. So, there's a tie-in here, right? First, we're going to talk about the Catholic Physicians Guild of San Antonio because it is a big deal and it resurfaced kind of, right? Give us a little bit of history.
Yeah, so in 2009, then Bishop Gomez asked Dr. Deacon Jose Santos if he would form the guild because San Antonio hosted the National Catholic Medical Association conference. Mm-hmm. And so it was formed then, and there was a brief hiatus, and we just reconvened last month at Holy Spirit and had 52 people at our meeting from all healthcare professions, not just physicians.
Wow.
And there's been a hunger for it. So people that had been there in the past, pharmacists came up and said, I remember these meetings. Yeah. And I'm so excited we're having them again. So we had Mass, and then we had dinner, and we had an amazing talk about forgiveness by Deacon Dr. Santos, a little mini retreat from a spiritual and medical perspective. And I think God wills this, so we'll see what he wants to make of us.
And what great doctors are involved. I mean, you got, you mentioned Dr. Deacon Jose Santos, Dr. Mitch Finney.
Yeah, Mitch Finney is in private practice in family medicine.
This is your board,
This
your
is our
leaders.
board, that's right. Dr. Jose Santos is recently retired from PM&R, and he is a deacon at Holy Spirit. We've got Dr. Michael Morris, who's a BAMC pulmonologist. Dr. Steve Pilkington, everybody knows, is our Catholic OB-GYN at Dignity, Dignity. Dr. Scott Harris, who's retired cardiologist supposedly, but he's adjunct at UTSA, helps with their refugee clinic, and he still works part-time in cardiology clinic at the Robert B. Greene. Right. And Dr. Jorge Maldonado, a psychiatrist.
Oh, that's awesome. And you got officers, of course. You're one of the officers.
Well, there's only me. So one of the things we're doing, besides renaming to let everybody know we're everybody in healthcare, not just physicians, is finding a secretary, a treasurer, a vice president who will be the president-elect. So for now, I am the officer, and we're looking for help.
And you're a mom of 5, so you're busy.
Yes.
You got the kiddos here in the background.
And the teenagers.
Yeah. Wow.
And my husband is a practicing cardiothoracic surgeon, so David is very busy. So
both of you are very busy.
He's on call at work, and I'm on call at home usually.
Yeah. So let's talk about, what is the mission, or, what's the mission of the organization? I'm kind of jumping around, but I'm going to go back and ask about that mission, because I think people are going to be like, what does the Catholic Physicians Guild of San Antonio do? What are they programmed to do?
And I'm gonna read you the mission because it's packed. There's a lot in it, but we want to provide a professional resource which embodies the practice of authentic Catholic medicine in support of the Archdiocese of San Antonio, and to foster network networking, collaboration, community service, education, formation, and outreach in accordance with the principles of the Catholic Medical Association. So that's really packed. That's a lot. Yeah. But we are really about the formation of healthcare professionals and showing them how to live out their faith in their practice of medicine, in their professions, how to see the face of Christ in their patients, how to be the face of Christ, and to show them what they haven't been shown in their secular training about how to recognize the dignity and the fullness of the human person in themselves and in their patients and in healthcare.
Wow, it is jam-packed, but you know what? It's so understandable. You know, I think from a Catholic perspective, it's very understandable. I get that, and I'm glad that y'all resurfaced this because it means a lot. It means a lot to a lot of people out there. And so, you know, who do y'all support? What is the mission of support? What groups out there do y'all want to support the most?
I think people in training benefit the most. We love seeing students, and we were blessed at our last meeting to have representation from UTESCA and also the UIW SOM medical schools. But all students, because they are practicing in a secular world, they're shown secular role models, and having the conversations that we need to have, especially when healthcare diverges from what we know is the good and the true and the beautiful in our faith, we need to see that modeled. And we need to have someone have our back. And so we are especially beneficial for others. And we're physician-led as well, even though we have other leadership positions for people who are not physicians, because we have the most sway in fighting back in these areas of conscience.
Yeah, and you've got nurses, you got pharmacists, you got physicians' assistants. I mean, you don't have to be a doctor.
Dentists. Yeah. Everybody in healthcare, hospital ministry, theologians and ethicists that touch on these subjects, we want them all. Come to us.
Right. And, you know, what's cool is a tie-in with natural womanhood, right? I mean, because, Jackie, are you going to be speaking at the upcoming, is it the Catholic Physicians of San Antonio meeting?
Yes, on Thursday night. So down at Mission Concepcion?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we're going to have Mass at 6, and then afterwards dinner, and then Jackie and Gerard are going to be speaking for us.
Yeah, and just listening to Ann speak right now, we experience that a lot in our work because we're working with college students and even some students that are in grad school and PA school, and they come back and they tell us the stories about what's happening on their campus, and that you go to the women's health clinic on campus at Rice or wherever, and they're offered Plan B and they're offered contraception, but they're offered no knowledge about how their bodies work or their cycle works. Yeah. And I know Natural Womanhood, we focus mostly just on women's health and the truth about how a woman's body works and how that's so empowering and important for women and couples to know, and then how that ties over into their healthcare and empowers them to have a better experience in their healthcare experience, because they're not just dismissed or symptom managed, but like getting to root causes of issues, which is, again, tying back to that, if a doctor's practicing with their faith as their foundation, they're going to look at the whole person. They're not just going to look at the symptoms and be like, okay, here, check, that's done, move on. I got to get, it's about, like you say, seeing Christ in the face of your patient. And so I think that's how our work ties in. And so hopefully we can bring some of those real life stories to the people that come on Thursday evening.
Mm-hmm. And you've got monthly meetings, right, Dr. Ann?
Yeah. So we have.
And that's where you're going to be at one of the monthly meetings. Is it a tie-in?
She's going to be the speaker. So we'll typically have our meeting setup will be, we'll have a 6 p.m. Mass, and then we'll have 6:30 dinner available so people can come. If they need to bring family or children, they can. Mm-hmm. And then our speaker will start around 7 to 8, and then we usually have lots of questions and tie it into our clinical practices and our professions, have discussion after, a lively discussion. So that's going to be every month. And, sometimes we'll have pilgrimages. It's, from something as local as Schoenstatt Shrine or the Oblate Shrine, or, hopefully eventually we can make it a Camino. We'll see. Or, we can have events, volunteering and things, but journal clubs, there's such a variety of things we can do. And I know our members are hungry for service, so that'll be part of what we do, and hungry for mission, so we'll look into that. But we plan to gather monthly.
And that's what's happening this Thursday. And I want to tell everybody where it's going to be, Mission Concepcion.
Yes.
Right? And you got Father Godfrey, an Oblate Father, will be celebrating Mass and dinner. and it's going to follow with a talk by Gerard Migion and Jackie Aguilar. So that is this Thursday. They're from Natural Womanhood, but I think this is wonderful. And, as, we move forward and you guys move forward, what are you currently working on with the Archdiocese? Because you're working with the Archdiocese on some events that are coming up, right? Like a hospital ministry, stuff like that.
So we want to make sure that we get people involved with our group who are from hospital ministry to let them know, the chaplains, that we want them as well, that we want to be one of their professional homes for them as well.
Right.
And then the things that Lauren Stadelman from the Respect Life office in the diocese mentions that people come to them for, not just to find Catholic providers or a resource for things Catholic in medicine, but also, where they can find missions and things to get involved in. And then the Archdiocese always has a celebration for St. Luke's feast day.
That's right.
White Mass, kind of like the lawyer's red Mass. And then it's for all healthcare workers, so you really want to emphasize everyone in healthcare. This year, it's actually on a Saturday. So typically the Archbishop has had it at St. Luke's on St. Luke's feast day, but this year they're having their own festival to celebrate St. Luke. So we're going to do something a little different, which is pretty cool. I think we're going to be a unique guild. We're going to have a retreat for healthcare professionals.
On October 18th.
Yes.
St. Luke's feast day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing is that we have Father Kubat from the National Catholic Medical Association. He holds the boot camps to help prepare medical students for what they're going to encounter in the secular world in medical school and how to stand up and be a voice for Christ. So he has agreed, luckily Deacon Jose Santos went on the mission, the Camino mission with him. So he knows him. So he has assured us that Father Kubat's going to be able to come and host our retreat for us. So we are really blessed.
Wow.
And we're putting that on with Archdiocese.
Yeah, that's going to be a big celebration there. That's awesome. Now, Jackie, going back to you a little bit, tell me about, what you and Gerard are going to give us a sneak peek of what you're going to speak about this Thursday.
So the beautiful benefits that restorative reproductive medicine and fertility awareness bring to women's healthcare. So just in this aspect where I think our culture tells us that, contraception and abortion are just the answers to women's healthcare and their women's rights and there's a war on women if they can't have access to these things. We want to go back to our foundational beliefs as Catholics and just as logical people that it's like, well, if we really look at what is really best for the whole of a woman, right, and we look at what authentic healthcare would look like for her, it's first and foremost education about how her body works in a state of health. Right. Because a woman in a state of health is a woman who is fertile, who is capable of conceiving, right? If you do something to suppress those hormones that allow you to be able to be pregnant or that allow you to have that ability, you're causing a chain reaction of other side effects in your body because that's your endocrine system. You're throwing it all out of bounds. There goes your metabolism. There goes your cortisol response. I mean, I'm sure doctor could explain it better than I could. And so it's like if a woman has cycle dysfunction, if a woman needs things like this, well, then let's take a look at what the underlying cause is and let's find a way to cure her, to manage this, not just to deal with her symptoms and kind of dismiss her and push her to the side, and this science goes into the issue of IVF as well, and dealing with infertility, right? So, so many beautiful ways to look at the woman as a whole, as a wife, as a mother, whatever her roles are in her life, and put her at the best ability to live her life to the fullest without, causing a lot of negative side effects that are going to affect her now and way into the future. Yeah. And this starts from the time a little girl hits puberty, because she's cycling for a decade or more before she decides to enter marriage and start a family. So if she has any cycle dysfunction early on, she needs this information then as well. So her and her mom can seek healthy solutions for themselves. So we have tools in Natural Womanhood to educate young women and their mothers and college women as they enter into college. And that's what we're hoping to just share with the Catholic Women's, the Medical Guild, the Physicians Guild. Sorry, I didn't say that right.
We are renaming soon.
What was that again?
Oh, we are renaming. So you just let everybody know that it's everybody in healthcare. So right now it is the Catholic Physicians Guild of San Antonio, but you're right, it could change. We're asking for suggestions.
Oh, you're going to rename it from Catholic Physicians Guild, CPG?
Yes, because we are physician-led, but we want everybody to know this is your home. If you're interested in practicing from a fully Catholic perspective in healthcare.
So you want it to be like Catholic Medical Guild or something?
Yes,
Catholic.
like there's some like Catholic. It could be Catholic Healthcare Professionals of San Antonio, or it could be like the Guild of Saint Muscati. We'll have to decide who our patron's going to be.
That's going to be some new news. So we'll have to bring you back, Dr. M, with Dr. Mitch and Dr. Jose. Maybe we could talk about that new name. But naturalwomanhood.org, right, is where women can go to find out, information about natural womanhood.
Yes, we have just this wealth of over 800 articles, videos, podcasts on everything women's health, from cycle dysfunction to pregnancy to postpartum to breastfeed, all the things. So, and it's all very accessible. So it's all from a medical perspective and science perspective, but then just easy to read for any lay person. You don't have to be a doctor or anything. But a lot of doctors are starting to use our articles to share with their patients because it's readable and accessible, understandable. Yeah. So it's a great resource for doctors, medical professionals, and just any woman couple that wants to be more holistic and healthy in this area of their life.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Ann, there may be some young professionals out there in the healthcare industry that are like, I want to support this organization. I want to get on board because I'm Catholic. I love what they stand for. I love where they're going. How do they get involved? Where would you tell them to go first?
You could email me, Ann Thyssen, THYSSEN, @gmail.com. That's Ann with no E, Ann Thyssen @gmail.com.
Ann Thyssen, okay, ANNTHYSSEN @gmail.com.
Yes. Or you could find Catholic Physicians Guild of San Antonio on Facebook. I'm posting there. We're about to retake over our old website, cathmedsa.org, so I can update you when that's up and running.
Yeah.
And then the Archdiocesan News Blast that comes out, you'll see we have a QR code you can link to our events directly from there.
Right.
But we'll keep updating Instagram and other ways for you to connect to us. But that's what we've got now. But please message me directly.
I love the fact that, it is physician-led, but it's not just for physicians. It's for all healthcare workers, nurses. You've got PAs out there. Just healthcare industry folks that can join, pharmacists,
educators, just whoever. And we have so many things like this that would just pull people that are in the pro-life movement, who also are in that aspect of healthcare. So there's so much for everyone.
Yeah, and
we'll
being
have a variety of talks, a variety of events.
Yeah, being a Catholic organization as well. You don't have to be a Catholic doctor or a Catholic.
No. And in the past, when we've had educational things, and the JP2 Foundation, we're hoping to host a conference for eventually, you'll see that, chaplains, regardless of the religion, will come. Educators, regardless, will come. So there's an interest from others as well.
Good deal.
And so needed, but from I think the students' perspective, because I think they do go to school and they hear presentations. I hear particularly about the women's health side of it, and it's just so contrary to what they know in their faith, but they don't necessarily have an argument back towards the other side, or they don't feel like they're supported in their beliefs, especially when everybody else in the classroom is just nodding their head like, okay, yes, professor, this is how I should learn to do abortions, and this is how I should, prescribe contraception, and without like any other kind of support.
The boot camp really teaches them, and we'd love to support some students to go to the national boot camp to say, but explain to me how that makes sense. Why is that? Because this is what I know and how to stand up. And also you'll find that people who are past school will discover also how to practice in a Catholic way, how to have these conversations with patients in a way that they had never been taught before because you haven't seen it modeled. So we hope to provide that, through our experience and combined expertise,
and I think you're leading down that road where, you've got a question here. In the face of controversies in medicine that challenge our faith, why should we have joy instead of fear? I like that question.
That was one of the most beautiful gifts that I had. I helped start the Catholic Healthcare Professionals of Houston. And I met Deacon Santos because we called him for advice because he had formed this guild in 2009 and we filmed ours a few years later. Yeah. So we did a journal article on the Linacre Journal. That's the Catholic Medical Association's national journal from 2011 from Pellegrino. And what he said is, instead of having fear in the face of these things, realize that you belong to a heavenly kingdom and that you have the freedom because Christ is your king, to live out your faith without fear. And there's joy in that. So I want to share that beauty with others.
Yeah.
And to have support in this group to live it out myself, because there are some heavy things every day we deal with as physicians.
Yeah. And now,
and everybody in healthcare.
Yeah, everybody in healthcare. Now, besides, natural womanhood, what other groups out there are y'all reaching out to say, hey, we're coming back and we'd love to, partner? I don't like the word partner.
We use the word partnership specifically because we want to have a Converging Roads conference.
Right.
Part of the reason Deacon Santos found me is because Arlen Nichols from the John Paul II Foundation said, hey, Ann moved to San Antonio from Houston. You need to contact her.
Yeah.
And when God wants you to do something, he doesn't let up. And so here I am. But yes, so we would love to have a Converging Roads conference. They have the Shepherd's Heart for priests, Together in Holiness for married persons, and Converging Roads for medical professionals. And they have amazing speakers and just support people. And they give CEUs for chaplains. They give CNEs for nurses and CMEs for others.
Right.
And so we'd love to have that conference. We would love to have partners. We know that the Archdiocese will support us if we get enough interest. In the past, Christus has been a partner. We would love to partner. We are in touch with the Catholic medical associations at both the med schools here.
I like
They've got
that
strong
for mentorship.
Yes, and they've asked for some support, even just for their secular pro-life groups they have at UTESCA. They have some cool initiatives they're doing, like trying to fund parents and scholarships for parents and pregnant students.
Yeah,
it's fund meals for them. So we're trying to tie to them. We'd love to have contacts and organizations. Like the medical centers in Floresville, the different hospitals, the different parishes. Mm-hmm. So we just want to be able to reach out to the community, let them know we're here, find out what they need.
Yeah, clinics that are out there.
Yes. So we want people to know about us. So we're trying to build partnerships, but also see what God wills of us with this.
I love that. And when I read that, the mentorship program. So you're building for the future. It's not just for now. But I think, now that y'all have resurfaced, so to speak, I think now moving forward, and you've got so much support, that I think it's going to be incredible. But are there, now to join the Catholic Physicians Guild of San Antonio, are there dues or how do you get involved?
So clergy are free. We would love to have, people in the religious life join us. All students are $25. Professionals of any kind is $60 for the year. We always take donations for our food because we're always going to try to feed people, so there's no obstacles for them coming to our meetings. And then if paying is an obstacle, then we'll help somebody out. But we're trying to keep our dues low and our running cost at a minimum, and just support what people need to come. Yeah. Oh, you asked earlier about partnership with the Archdiocese, and I wanted to mention that Father John Meffridge is looking for someone to be a healthcare advocate, to be a coordinator for the healthcare of the clergy in the diocese. So we will post that advertisement he has on our Facebook page, and we'll send you a copy because I know you all post our things as well.
Of course.
But we want to support that as well.
Father Meffridge, he's over at the Archdiocese, and he needs some help finding that person, or is it person or persons?
I think one specific person they're looking for, but he, to coordinate the care for the people that have served us in our Archdiocese, for our clergy. So what a beautiful thing to be able to do, and what a beautiful thing in healthcare to be able to live out works of mercy in our profession. Yeah.
Well, and you've got so many wonderful doctors that are a part of this already. As I look at the list, I mean, Dr. Mitch Finney is he's been around for a long time. I went to Clark High School with Dr. Mitch Finney, and he was our quarterback when I was a freshman. So great guy. Also, Dr. Michael Morris, Dr. Steve Pilkington. He's part of the Guadalupe Radio Network. He's one of our sponsors, and also Dr. Let's see, who do you have? Dr. Scott Harris, retired cardiologist.
We also had past president of the, I think it's a National Catholic Nurse Association at our meeting, and we're hoping we want to reach everybody. We're hoping that we pull them into leadership and then collaborate with them in our group. So
because like he said, y'all were you were here, and then it kind of just faded away.
Yes.
Now we don't want this to fade away. We want this to thrive, and I think having speaking engagements with groups like Natural Womanhood, that's going to, further the, I guess, get the word out, if you will.
And we have a meeting next next month as well, already in the works. So May 22nd at Holy Trinity, we're going to have retired Bishop Pfeiffer from San Angelo come and speak about pro-life issues. And we're so excited. Lauren Stadelman is going to also join us to talk about pro-life just opportunities in the Archdiocese. So we're moving ahead strong.
I love what y'all stand for, but I want to remind everybody this Thursday, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, it's open to everybody, right?
Yes, anybody interested in this talk, anyone in healthcare who'd like to join us, and what a beautiful opportunity to have Mass at the Mission, and then next door, the Pope Francis Event Center. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's an amazing space. Just easy to park. It's going to be lovely.
And Gerard Migion, he's going to be there as well.
Yes. So I think it'll be a unique message that anybody from any walk of healthcare, because I know that I hear from the medical students that they're like, oh, yeah, we don't learn this in medical school. I mean, very rarely.
We don't talk about
and there's
that.
a hunger for it from
Yes.
the patients and from them. There's such a need.
They're like, how do I go hormone free? How do I plan my family in a way that doesn't, cause me any kind of, side effects, And so, and then I definitely see the more and more that I live this out in my life, and and we were sharing miscarriage stories and all the different phases of a woman's life, and it has benefited me to be such an empowered, educated woman, to know how my body works, and then I'll share that with my husband in my marriage relationship. So my mental stress, emotional health is so much better because I'm in a stronger relationship with my husband. I mean, this knowledge could not bring more healthcare to women than anything else I could imagine. And I just think that learning that as a nurse or a PA or a doctor anywhere, that you can give these resources to women is so valuable.
Right. Jackie, I know you could probably speak to this too, but also for single women, right? How empowering, and for religious. And just the beauty of the theology of the body and how God made us.
Our one of our recent college leaders, she wrote an article about her prayer life and how it changed when she understood her cycle.
Wow.
Amazing. So all aspects of womanhood.
Well, I think that music means we're coming to a close. I want to thank both of y'all, Dr. Ann and Jackie, for coming on, talking about the Catholic Physicians Guild of San Antonio. And when that name changes, we'll let everybody know about it. All right, everybody, that's going to be a wrap here. God bless you. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
The joy of Easter extends beyond the day itself, encouraging us to live in the light of the resurrection every day. This is the Guadalupe Radio Network, radio for your soul.